Nigerians, a stolen mandate naturally means a stolen future. The activities of the 2019 election is just about completed now with the exit of the extremely well dragged on polls of Rivers. And I find it, again, quite depressing that we still have to talk about the issues. For there's a reason why democracy is allowed to be the preferred form of government for the world. Even nations that are not in democracy have begun to look at how to reform their own systems in such a way that people can have some sense of participating in how their leaders are selected. Nigeria, our beloved country, has been in a democracy for 20 years now, and therefore it's not out of place to demand from this country, from all of us, from our leaders, from the handlers of our country, that our democratic experiment and journey must demonstrate an improvement of 20 years. For you to get an idea of what 20 years means, a child that is born today, in 20 years' time, will probably have finished his university education. If he's a very gifted child, he'll probably have even finished his master's. And he probably would have done his 1-year Madrid youth service. And a 20-year-old today will be 40 years old in another 20 years. And so it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time for a young nation. It's a lot of time for a nation that has a young population. And therefore, when things are not going well in a democracy, we all owe it a duty to speak up. What we'll be talking about is the stolen mandate. How exactly, or what do we mean by a stolen mandate? A stolen mandate is the breakdown of the rational processes that an election should go through to produce an outcome that could be easily accepted. There's no gainsaying that, except that we want to become cowards, or we want to play the ostrich, which is that we know what's going on, but we're too cowed or too paralyzed or too uninterested or have generally given up on the country and can't just be bothered. I met a couple of young people a couple of days back, young, brilliant people who were probably, some of them doing their youth service, some of them done with their youth service, people of voting it, and they were very, very distraught. They were distraught because they couldn't understand what the point of an election is and what the point of the country is. And little wonder, statistics now show that from polling, more than half of the people that are old enough to take a decision in Nigeria actually wish to go. It happens like that when people begin to lose faith in countries. People don't just lose faith in country, people lose faith in institutions of country. And when they lose faith in institutions, then they begin to say, okay, they're losing faith in country. The 2019 presidential election, the election of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar, where the candidates of the People's Democratic Party, former Vice President of Nigeria, was on the ballot, I make bold to say it could not have been an acceptable election. It doesn't matter what others want to know or wish not to say, what others also say, whispering, and what civil society has pretended as if they didn't see, and what NANS has even become unwilling to get their balls back, and what the entire gamut of the Nigerian political elite know and will not say. Some of us believe in the interest of the country, for the benefit of all of us, we must call it out for what it is. Any sham that has taken place, that you can almost see brigandage, you can see voter suppression, you can see murder of people. I'm disappointed beyond words that no government, especially the APC government of Muhammadu Buhari, have not deemed it fit to demand an inquiry as to why any of those people who lost their life, and who is culpable and who is accountable. It therefore means that in this country, life has become very, very, very short. Life has become very, very brutish, and carrying out civil responsibility and civic duty of participating in an election comes with the risk that the next person who tries to participate in an election just by wanting to vote will just get killed. And if he gets killed, his government will not be interested. The international community will pretend as if they didn't die, and the families and the loved one of who has lost his life is meant to carry it. Now, if you don't have an election that you got your mandate legitimately, how then do you even have the moral rectitude to be able to perform in a legitimate manner over people? And the telltale signs are here already. The government is winding down its tenure, and yet we can almost see that almost everywhere you turn is this Zamfara. Is it Borno? Is it Kaduna? Where do you turn in Nigeria that you do not see that people are beginning to think that they have been shortchanged? Of course, Nigeria has been shortchanged. We're in court, we'll be in court, we'll stay in court, we'll go through the whole process, we'll painstakingly follow through this case, we'll encourage our lawyers and the media and everybody in the country to let's go on this journey together, let's find out what happened, let's try and figure out how we got ourselves into this. So perhaps, if nothing else, we can begin to correct and make sure that the future becomes better. We cannot be a people where we'll go on in an election and the only reason why people win elections are because they are the ones that are in charge of either their states or they're in charge of the country. That is not how democracy envisioned. If we must follow that route, then we must be brave enough to say we're not practicing the American style, Western style democracy, and we now want to do something else. So there are many different forms of government, and there are arguments here and there, even by scholars, as to whether democracy is the most appropriate form of government for the Africans. But we always say, yes, it has its challenges, but perhaps it's still the very best that we know now. And until somebody can think up on, or we can all come together and think up another way of selection, then we must have to improve the democracy. Therefore, I'll be coming to you regularly. I'll be coming to you consistently. I'll be speaking to you on these issues. I'll be bringing you arguments or the perception as we see it. I'll be showing you precisely what the full meaning of this is, and you will begin to see that we all have to be on the same journey, demanding that elections going forward must always count, and that the only might on the day of an election is the voter's card, the accredited voter, the eligible voter, a transparent process, a credible process that produces an acceptable outcome. I think Atiku Abubakar's mandate was stolen, and I want you to come with me as we try to retrieve it. Every stolen mandate is a prerequisite for a stolen future. Thank you.